Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is Monday. Happy Monday, April 14th of 2025, 4:50 p.m. People, something strange happened today that I don't think anybody else caught. I'm going to say it again. Something strange happened today. You know that our president has been having key leaders from around the world come to the White House, see him, try to develop relations, and to ensure that the respect of America is solid. Now today, the president of El Salvador says he won't return mistakenly deported man to U.S. Keyword, mistakenly. The Trump administration is also now claiming that Kilmar Garcia was not deported by mistake, as the Justice Department stated, but was the right person sent to the right place. Now, people, this has been going on since March 12th. March 12th, there was an individual picked up, okay? He was picked up, and then he was held for 3 days, and then he was sent back to El Salvador. This has been a hot and heavy topic in America since that day. The president of El Salvador says he will not get involved in sending him back to the United States. But people, did you know that today is the day that Abraham Lincoln was popped? I'm going to say it again. Did you know that today is the day that Abraham Lincoln, he was this? Now, I had to really meditate on this thing. I mean, when I say meditate, just concentrate. I'm like, Pearson, this is the date. Some people say it was the 15th that he died. I'm not going to argue with that. All over the internet, you can find Abraham Lincoln departure day as April 14th. But be it as it may, it's not going to matter. What matters is that today is that day that he did get this. And when I began to concentrate, I felt God telling me to check out the numbers in relation to both El Salvador, the date that this guy was picked up, Mr. Garcia, and the president as well. And when I tell you, it all comes together. It all comes together. So hold tight. I'm going to do my due diligence and show you. I believe that this is just another way for the powers to tell you that Donald J. Trump has a short time. A very, very, very short time. Many times I wish I didn't have the gift and the knowledge, because people, it's a burden to carry a gift where you have to peel back and then it stares right at you. And this is one of those times. It doesn't mean I will stop doing God's work. I will always do God's work. I'm just saying it's overwhelming. Now check this out. El Salvador President Bukele told reporters during a meeting with President Donald Trump on Monday that he would not return a man the Justice Department said it had mistakenly deported to his country. How can I return him, he said, to the United States? like if I smuggled him into the United States, sitting beside Trump in the Oval Office, when asked if he returned Kilmar Garcia, of course, I'm not going to do it. The question is preposterous. Now, if I didn't say it already, let me say this. This is a smokescreen. This is all a smokescreen. The message here is interwoven between Donald J. Trump and Abraham Lincoln and the unaliving of Trump. Just stay tuned. Now, I might come back to this. I think you guys got the story. Here's the man's first name, Kilmar. Kilmar. That's his name. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Kilmar. It just stands out. Kilmar comes out to 44. The 44th president of the United States is Barack Obama. Kilmar also comes out to 98. The 98th day of the year is April 8th. On April 8th, America had an eclipse like the whole world, and an X came over the earth. What is X? X means you eliminated. Do you understand? And just take the first 3 letters of this word, Kilmar, and I think you know where I'm going. Now listen to this. This is the meeting that they had. Bondi spoke and a few other people spoke in relation to this, okay? Now check it out.
Facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return and you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Can you just also respond to that question? Because, you know, it's asked by CNN and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask for
Supreme
anyone
Court's
to get
asking
it back?
to,
And
That
what
was
was the
the
ruling
ruling
in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Usted lo liberaría,
President
Presidente Bukele?
Can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I mean, suppose you're not suggesting that I smuggle terrorists into the United States, right?
It's always
How can
saying
how can I smuggle, how can I return him to the United States? Like, if I smuggle him into the United States, or whether, of course, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States. I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So he's not going to do it. Now, I believe this is his wife, and as the camera panned to her, I want you to notice she has on the black and the white. It's majority black, but it's the black and the white, okay? I believe that's his wife, because I saw her get into the limo with him. Black and white means you play both sides. The chessboard, you stay in the middle. Republican against Democrat, you guys know how it go. Just wanted to point out how she wore the black and white. Are they playing a game here? Okay, is my question. Now listen to this here. Here is Kilmar, a picture of him, and here's a response talking about it. Then we're going to get into the decode. It's deep.
The Secretary of State and other White House officials are saying it's a matter of a foreign policy, and the Supreme Court cannot weigh on this at all. But it was something else that the U.S. president said about the infamous prison in El Salvador. He said for the first time that homegrown criminals, that means American citizens, should also be sent there. Let's watch.
I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
In other words, American citizens can be sent to El Salvador. It appears, and this is the second time I've heard this by the president, that he would do this. Does he mean just foreigners, or does that include Americans? Let me know what your take is. Put in the comment section. Now watch this here. Like I said, I believe this is all a masquerade. The true subject matter here is in relation to what happened to Lincoln. MS-13 comes out to 45. This is the gang that they always bring up, and they just brought it up today. And this guy, Garcia, Kilmar, they said he's a member of that. They cannot be in the United States, per president. MS-13 comes out to 45. Trump's the 45th president. Now look at this. Here's the president of, he just met, right? Salvadorian politician. He just met, you met him, right? 43 years old. His birthday is July 24th. Now look, this is when this happened of Abraham Lincoln, April 14th, 1865. Now again, they say April 15th. I'm not gonna get into that. Birth date, February 12th. I'm gonna break it all down. Here's Trump's birthday, 6/14. Now watch this connection here. 6/14/2025, that's Trump's birthday. 7/24 is the president of El Salvador. That's his birthday, same year. The difference is 5 weeks and 5 days. So El Salvadoran president versus Trump's birthday is exactly 5 weeks and 5 days apart. What does that mean to us historically? 5/5. Julius Caesar died at 55 years old. What a connection. It blew my mind, people. At 55, that's when he died. 55. It's deep. And on March 15th, that's when he was taken out. And he was born July 13th, now that I think about it. July 13th. Now check this out. El Salvador was founded 9/15, September 15th. Take September 15th, 2025, anniversary of El Salvador versus today's date at the White House, 4/14/2025. The difference is 22. What is 22? I've showed you guys an iPad Goat 2. An iPad Goat 2, there is a photograph of Barack Obama sweating a V in his head. Sweating a V. V is the 22nd letter of the alphabet. V. He's sweating the V. Moments later, the American flag shreds into two, and everything behind him crumbles. In other words, V is disastrous. So look at this. El Salvador's anniversary, birthday, 9/15, versus today, date means disaster, 22. Ain't that deep? Now watch this here. El Salvador's birthday again, 9/15, versus what? Salvadorian's president, his birthday of 7/24/2026. It comes out to 312 days. I'm gonna say it again. El Salvador's anniversary of them being founded, 9/15, versus El Salvadorian president's next birthday of 7/26/2026, which follows this birthday. The difference is 312, people. Also 444. Now, I gotta really show you the decode on this in a lot of areas, because this is mind blowing, believe it or not. Now, I always show a picture of Jay-Z. Jay-Z has a crown of thorns on his head, so to speak, like Christ, of sacrifice. 4 and 4 is 8, remainder got 4, like August 4th. Barack Obama was born August 4th. You see hollow eyes in there like death, Jay-Z. 4 is 8, 84. Barack Obama's birthday is August 4th. Notice, when I take El Salvador's birthday versus the president of El Salvador, I get 444, the same thing. Now get this. You also have 10 months and 9 days. 10-9. What is 10-9? Let me throw this at you, people. This is deep. It's all in our face. Watch this. 10-9. Watch this here. If you take 10-9 of 2025 and you subtract it from the end of the year, 12/31, and you count the end date, you get 84. Again, 10-9 of 2025, October 9th, subtracted from the end of the year, 12/31, you get 84. What is 84? Barack Obama was born August 4th. You see these connections? 84. It's all together. Watch this. So you had 444, Barack Obama, comes out to 84. 4 and 4 is 8. Take October 9th, subtract it from the end of the year, you get October 9th, subtracted from the end of the year, you get 84 days. And what is the 312? What is 312? What does that mean to you? It means a lot of things. First of all, Trump won by 312 points when he beat Kamala Harris, 312. Look at this decode. Anniversary of El Salvador versus the president's birthday comes out to 312. And it comes out to Trump. I told y'all. It's bigger than M13 and this guy who got sent back. This is about Trump and Lincoln. His numbers keep coming up. You don't believe me? Watch this. You see that 312? Look. Kilmar's arrest, his arrest date was 312. Kilmar, they picked him up on March 12th, 312. 312. 312. It's symbolic. 312. They had to plan all this. It fits too well. It fits too well. He was picked up on 312. If you take 312 of 2025, the day he was picked up, versus the day that Trump became president, when the votes came in, 11/4 of 2024, difference is 4/8. What is 4/8? Okay, remember we started out. We started out with 4/8, didn't we? Somewhere around here. I forgot where it was, but we came up with a 4/8 somewhere. Be it as it may, come out to 4/8. So many. Anyway, it was on 4/8 that we had an eclipse, remember? On April 8th, we had an eclipse. What is an eclipse? X. So in other words, when you take 312, the day this guy was picked up, versus the day that Trump became elected, it means X. There's an association between Kilmar, and Trump. The relationship is X. On April 8th of last year, we had an X come over the earth with the eclipse. You see the connection? I'm almost done. Now look at this. On July 16th, 1790, this is when Washington, D.C. and the Potomac River became a part of the United States. July 16th. Why do I include that, July 16th? That's where he was assassinated at, in Washington, D.C. Really? Yeah. July 16th, that's when Washington, D.C., where he was killed at, became part of the United States. So you take July 16th, 2025, the anniversary, versus 4/14, which is today. They was at the White House talking, right? That'll be next year. I put extra year on there. I shouldn't have, but I did. The difference is August 4th, Barack Obama's birthday. But check this out. Trump's birthday this year, 6/14 of 2025, subtracted from 4/15. Lincoln's death date, 4/15. Even if it's 4/14, it don't matter. Does it? Okay. If we use 4/15 instead of 4/14, you still get Barack Obama August 4th. A lot of numbers, but people, I believe this is all about Lincoln, people. Another way for them to tell you. And people, when it happens, it's going to be a substitute, a dummy Trump. It's not going to be real. I don't want you guys to lose your mind. I want you to keep your head together. We're going to do live videos. God knows, probably 3 straight days. The powers love confusion. Satan is the author of confusion. And they're going to take advantage of this situation. They might hurt us economically. It might be a WAR. It might be social unrest. Who knows what their plan is? But I believe through this Salvadorian situation today at the White House, they were telling us about this and what happened to Lincoln. God bless. If you want to help the channel, I appreciate it. Just go to Friendshot Blue and you can click on...
Your Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Click on my portrait. And let's see, you click on my portrait, my bad, just like you. And then click on more. I have Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. And I have a P.O. box if you can help the channel. My videos don't get to the hierarchy of the algorithm, so I always ask for help, but I'm doing God's will. At some point, we'll have a breakthrough. Hallelujah, we'll have a breakthrough. Elder Hinton from Chicago, may he rest in peace. He used to always preach about a breakthrough. God bless, we'll have a breakthrough. And Jesus, trust me, he's coming again. Thank you, Lord.